live coming at you today, and got some good stuff for y'all today. Think we're gonna have some fun today. It's gonna be a good show. As you see, I got on my Eagles green, and I got on my Eagles hat, so you know what time it is. That I told y'all Tuesday tomorrow. Training camp opens up. But anyway, you know we got some stuff to get to. You know our schedule. You know our routine. So let's get to what we get to. I am a little bit early, but I'm gonna rock for a little bit. Y'all know where I am. Okay, Instagram at SportsRap CEO live right there. If you can't get that, if you can get on your car, you can get in whatever. You still at work, and you can tune in. All right, the link is in my bio. All right, heat100radio.airtime.pro. All right, you should be able to hear my voice as I speak to you. So get over there, check that out, make note of it, so you'll know how to get a hold of it. And then after you listen to me today, you tune in here. You can tune in all day, all week long. All right, there's always some good stuff going on Heat 100 Radio. So make sure you get that link and lock in. So a little bit of news for you guys. Let's see here. Von Miller is signing a $6.1 million deal with the Commanders. All right, but it could be up to, or he could earn up to $10.1 million with incentives and all of that jazz. All right, so WNBA stars wear "Pay Us What You Owe Us" T-shirts during the warm-up, warm-ups during the WNBA All-Star Game. I'm going to talk a little bit about their collective bargaining agreement and how they're progressing, and tell you a little bit about what they want. They also, after the fact, some of the players cleared up some air before the media got a hold and started to run with stories and prefab some stories. They kind of cleared the air on what they're looking for and what the situation is with them and their working on the new CBA. Manny Pacquiao falls short of history in a draw with Barrios over the weekend. Marcus Smart agrees to a buyout from the Wizards and is hoping to join the Lakers. Let's see. Team Collier, Nafisa Collier defeated Team Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game 151 to 131. Nafisa Collier was named the MVP. All right. CP3 is apparently making a return back to the LA Clippers. And I have to take my hat off for a second. I want to give a short, quick moment of silence for Malcolm Jamal Warner. If you have not heard, I just heard on the way here in the car that Malcolm Jamal Warner passed today. So I'm going to give a moment of silence for him. He was actor, poet, Emmy Award winner, and in a lot of ways, he was an inspiration and someone to look up to during that run on the Cosby Show. You know, and I know he was playing a role, but the role that he played, you know, and that's what we knew him as Theo, not as Malcolm Jamal Warner. We mostly knew him as Theo from the beginning. But nonetheless, he passed away, and I just want to give a quick, short moment of silence for him and offer my condolences and rest well to him and my condolences to his family. Thank you, everybody. Thank y'all for that. Appreciate y'all. If y'all took that moment of silence with me, I definitely do appreciate that. So, I said I wanted to talk a little bit of Sixers, right? So we're going to be real quick with the Sixers talk, right? They are still trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening with Quentin Grimes, okay? It's an ongoing thing with him right now. And of course, I mentioned it. Some other people mentioned it too. That we definitely do not believe or feel that he is worth the $25 million that he is asking. Hey, Misery Love Company, my guy Hardy, what's going on, good brother? Good to hear from you, man. Glad to appreciate you tuning in. DJ Denim as well. Thank you for tuning in. Let me make sure I get all of y'all down so I can make sure I give y'all some shout outs. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for taking time out y'all afternoon. But again, Quentin Grimes' situation is real crazy. When I first heard about it, he was asking for $25 million. I thought it was outrageous. I don't think he's worth $25 million right now. I could be wrong, but I believe he's kind of going on the stats that he put up in the second half of the season when he was traded here to the Sixers. But you kind of have to take that with a couple grains of salt, if you will. Those stats were good, but albeit they were on a injury-riddled, lack of scoring team. And you were the scorer, so there was no reason for you not to score, where the rest of the scoring was hard to come by. So 25 mil is a stretch. I honestly do believe that he will be back. And after all, he is a restricted free agent. I think he will be back, but yeah, he can't defend. They don't need him to defend; they need him to score. I think he will be back, and then we'll see what happens. And if you play your way into that 25 mil when you come back, then we got something different going on. There's a different story, right? You can talk a little different then, okay? But until that happens, you come back and play, you ball out, and you earn that, right? I mean, that's what a lot of guys do eventually at some point in their careers. They realize they have to maybe play for that next contract. And in my opinion, Quentin Grimes is in that situation right now as we speak. It's one of those things where I feel like he's in a, well, it depends. If Jared McCain is healthy, Jared McCain might start, but they might try and do something to bring him, to put Jared McCain as the leader, as lead point guard on that second unit. No, 25 mil is not normal for a bench player. Definitely not. But again, like I said, I believe he'll be back. Again, he's a restricted free agent, so Sixers will bring him back. And again, it depends on how well he plays, and it also depends on how healthy the team is. I'm hoping for a healthy team. That's all a fan can hope for is a healthy team. And you got the news last week about the Paul George situation, so everybody's already like, here we go again, right? And I get it. I understand it. It's like that broken record, and this is where we are, right? It happens to us every year. And then you bring in the Paul George, and he gets hurt and can't finish out the season, has a poor season. And it was a poor showing for the big three, or the alleged big three, for this first run. This is why a lot of people were like, well, trade this person, trade. You have to realize, people, that this business and some of these contracts that these players now have makes trading them somewhat difficult. Also, with some of our players, you have to take in their injury history. And I'm talking about Joel Embiid included in there. I am a Joel Embiid fan. But again, I have to talk about his injury. The injuries bother me. And the injuries are also a thing that's going to make it difficult to possibly trade him. Like I said, teams are going to lowball you because of his injury history. So then what do you do? Yeah, you got to beat the Knicks. Yeah, right. And see, the thing is, thanks for that, DJ Denham, too. But the thing is, with that situation now, if they come back healthy, and people are not really, a lot of people are not talking about this. I kind of heard Tim Legler allude to it the other day when I was watching him. I think it was in the Summer League or something like that. And he just brought it to perspective, and I like Tim Legler because he's always real about situations, and he's like, no, we really don't feel any favoritism or anything from him, even though he is from a local guy from Philadelphia area. He still calls it like he sees it and calls it like it is pretty much all the time. And one of the things he said, though, was since the way that the East has transpired now with the injuries and some of the other moves and free agency and trades and things of that nature, if the Sixers could stay healthy, he said that they could be right in the mix. I mean, that's a big if. We know that. It's a big if. But when you look at it, when you look at the landscape of the East now, you got three major injuries, and one of those is even no longer in the East, right? You got Indiana, you got Boston, Jason Tatum, and Tyrese Halliburton. Two major injuries. It's going to have both of those guys out for pretty much most of the season, probably all of the season next season. Indiana also lost Miles Turner, the longest tenured Pacer up until he decided to sign with the Bucks. Damian Lillard was waived. He returned to Portland. Jason Tatum is out. They traded Drew Holiday. They traded Porzingis. There are rumors and rumblings that Jalen Brown might be the next person to request a trade. All right. So in essence, when you look at it, the teams that the Sixers will really, really have to worry about would be the Knicks, like DJ Denham too said, of course. With the landscape change of those two teams, you can kind of push them to the side a little bit. Then you have the Cleveland Cavaliers, Orlando Magic, and Milwaukee. Bona don't need a jumper. I mean, I get what you're saying if you get Bona a jumper, but he don't really need that jumper. I like him staying in his lane, being aggressive around the rim, and doing things around the rim close to the basket in that 0 to 10 foot range. I think that's best for him. I don't need him shooting jump shots, especially in today's NBA, because we know that could be trouble. He starts shooting jump shots that could lead to him trying to stretch out to the 3-point line like everybody else, right? Yeah, maybe a 15-footer that could work, but in all reality, we know watching the NBA today, the mid-range game is pretty much a lost art. There's not too many people that shoot that 15-foot mid-range jumper anymore. Everything is centered around that 3-point line because they think it's going to give them scoring. This is why a gentleman that I used to work with told me a long time ago, the NBA is just entertainment. It is not great basketball, it's entertainment. It's oftentimes not good basketball, but it is entertainment. Yeah, he could draw defenders, but again, we're going to need Bona close to the basket because of our injury history. I appreciate your input, DJ Denham, too. It's not bad input. It's good input, and I like the thought process. But you also have to take into consideration we have two centers that are often injured, right? Except for that one season Andre Drummond was here before he got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, he was healthy. When he came back, since he's been back, he's been injured, right? Joel Embiid, we know, is always injured at some point. So we're going to need Bona down there on the boards and in that low block if we ever get him, or if the NBA or the team ever decides to play that deep in the low block. If they don't have Joel, then there's really no players in the low block. Right. They haven't been rebounding well at all since Joel Embiid has been out. I think Johnny Broom might help a little bit on the rebounding. I think VJ is going to help on the rebounding from the guard and the wing aspect. But again, this is why I'm saying we need Bona down there. They lost Gershon, right? The young kid from the Nets will probably help. I think that's Watford. He'll probably help with the boards too. But you need Bona to be that other player closer to the basket. Yeah, I like the rookies too. Like I said, I like VJ. I definitely like VJ, and I like Johnny. I like Broom. It's going to be interesting. And again, the question is, how does Nick Nurse play these players, right? You've got guys that came in, you've got guys that are coming back from injury. How do you process this? I know you had a plan going into last season, and then all the injuries happened, and then all of those plans got scrapped. They changed. All right, those plans changed. So therefore, I'm wondering, how are you going to manage this year? Are you going to have some time? You're going to make some time for those young players to get in and make an impact, which I think that they can make an impact. However small it is for us right now after the season that we had last season, any impact that they can make is greatly appreciated, right? Hey, Yabu couldn't jump, and I felt like I agree with that. And I felt like he got put in positions where we didn't get the best out of him, where we played that small ball when we got all injuries, and we had played small ball and had played him at the 5. You played him out of position, and you took away from the little bit of offense that he could give us. Yeah, they let him walk, right? But I'm guessing that they have something in store with the young kids that they play. Maybe they're trying to get younger. They didn't offer him a lot, and I think that was because they're waiting to see what goes on with the Quentin Grimes situation. But they're just basically waiting that out to see what happens. Like I said, Quentin Grimes is a restricted free agent, so arguably he will be back. Whether it be on the contract that he likes, that he wanted, probably not, but more than likely he should be back. So training camp is going to start soon. for the Sixers on. So here quietly in training camp now since the summer league is over, and we'll start hearing news about training camp real soon. And you know me, as I do what I do. Yeah, we signed the one kid from the Spurs. I don't think he was a big though. I think he's like a tweener, one of those tweener guys, I think. So I'll keep you up to date with all the news I get from Sixers training camp and reports that I see from the people I know and all that stuff. Right? Good. So I talked to you all before today, and we talked about. We saw. Well, I don't think we talked about it yet, but we saw all the chatter, all the talk about last week when we saw the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL currently. I don't understand where all the hate, if you will, all the disrespect, I don't know where all that's coming from, and all directed towards Jalen Hurts. Is it his off-field demeanor? Is it his on-field demeanor? I don't understand what it is. It's definitely not his play. It's definitely not his performance on the field. Because I'm going to run through some stats for y'all, and I'm going to give y'all some stuff. But I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through this list. Okay, and I'm going to give y'all some pointers. I'm going to give y'all some bullet points. Yeah, it could be personal. I'm going to give y'all some bullet points. I'm going to go through some stats. And we're going to talk a little bit about this, right? And I got some more other stuff that I'm going to get into. I'm going to bounce back to basketball for a second. But if I have some time. But I definitely need to get in here and talk to you about this Jalen Hurts heat. Jalen Hurts disrespect. So, a list was compiled. Top 10 current NFL quarterbacks. A survey of NFL execs, coaches, and scouts. Let me say that one more time. NFL execs, coaches, and scouts. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, Denham. I could see that. So, I'm going to go in order from 1 to 10. All right, number 1, Patrick Mahomes. I can see that. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 4, Lamar Jackson. Number 5, Jaden Daniels. Also tied at number 5, Matthew Stafford. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Number 8, Jared Goff. Number 9, Jalen Hurts. And rounding out the 10 spot, top 10, Baker Mayfield at number 10. So, I definitely have some issues with this top 10. I made some points here, some bullet points, and I did some work. There's some homework. I've got some facts to prove, and just to back up why I am disapproving of this list. All right, you have Jalen Hurts sitting at number 9. Right now, currently, and we're talking current, right? So we say current, we're gonna go back at least 3 years, 2-3 years, right? So in doing that, Jalen Hurts has been to the Super Bowl twice in the past 3 years. He's 1-1. All right. He's also a Super Bowl winning MVP. Right? That he is. So when we look at quarterbacks that are listed above him on this top 10 list, we're gonna go from right above him, Jared Goff at number 8. Okay. This is what they say. I don't get it. He's never been to a Super Bowl. Been in the league longer than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been to 2. Okay, again, I say Jalen Hurts has been to 2. The most recent one, he's the MVP. The first one, he even technically, stat-wise, outplayed the winning quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, who's number 1 on the list. Moving up to number 7, Justin Herbert. Hasn't won a playoff game his entire career yet. He definitely hasn't been to a Super Bowl. Starting at the tie, the bottom half of the tie, the way they made the list, Matthew Stafford. He got one. Got traded to Rams and they won one. Okay, we can give you that. But that's your only one. Okay. Jaden Daniels, rookie, 1 year in the league. And you rank him above Jalen Hurts, who was Super Bowl MVP most recently, reigning Super Bowl MVP. A year or two ago, very high in league MVP talks. Sure. This is what you like. This is what happens. All right. Yeah, it's gonna make you cringe when I get to the stats. All right. Moving up. Lamar Jackson. Okay. Lamar Jackson fans and Baltimore Ravens fans, they're gonna argue, oh, 2-time league MVP. Okay. He lost to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Daniels lost to Jalen Hurts. Wait till I give you the fact about that. I just gave you tip my hat a little bit there. Okay. Number 3, Joe Burrow. He been to a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl loser. He lost. Hasn't been back. Josh Allen, ranked at number 2. Also lost to Jalen Hurts. And by the way, if you remember that game, it was Jalen Hurts that had the winning touchdown in that game. But I'm just saying he's number 9 and this guy's number 2. Whatever. But this guy can't beat Pat Mahomes. Jalen Hurts is beating Pat Mahomes. Twice, actually, if you think about it. All right? He's beating them in the regular season, then he's beating them in the Super Bowl. All right? And then you got Pat Mahomes at the top. All right? Pat Mahomes has been a Super Bowl 5 times. We can actually leave that alone. All right? Honestly, we can leave that alone. 3-2 in Super Bowls, right? But one of those Super Bowl losses is to Jalen Hurts. The second one is not to any of the quarterbacks listed above Jalen Hurts. And then you're telling me he's at number 9 and you put Baker Mayfield at number 10. So you're telling me he's only one step above Baker Mayfield. Talk to me, people. SportsRap CEO, at SportsRap CEO. You know where I'm at, right? Instagram. Talk to me, people. This list is atrocious. Of all those quarterbacks that I named, including Pat Mahomes for this little tidbit, all right? Jalen Hurts is undefeated against them when he's played them, when he completes the game. And I know people are going to say, man, the Commanders beat them second game of the season. Yeah, but if you remember, I said when he completes the game. That second game, he didn't complete that game. He didn't play that game. He didn't complete that game. Bang. Right? Josh Allen, I just told you how that game played out here in South Philly. Eagles come back and win, and who scored the winning touchdown? Jalen Hurts. Matthew Stafford, twice last season. In the regular season, beat him. Got into the playoffs, beat him. Jaden Daniels, beat him the first time in regular season. Second time into that season, they lost. Jalen Hurts did not complete that game. Get into the playoffs, Jalen Hurts completes that game. They put something on the Washington Commanders in that championship game. Right. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, too, in a second, DJ Denham, right, Montana. We'll talk about that in a little bit. If I have some time to get to it, I'm definitely going to talk about that in a little bit. So, again, Joe Burrow, beat by Jalen Hurts. Went to the Super Bowl once. He lost the Super Bowl. Hasn't been back since. Again, and I say Jalen Hurts has been what? 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Lamar Jackson. Again, I say everybody's going to argue. He's a 2-time league MVP. Fine and well. Came here, South Philly, and got beat. Hasn't been to the Super Bowl. Again, Jalen Hurts 2 in the last 3 years. Lamar Jackson has not been there yet. Justin Herbert. It's really, really disturbing to me to see Justin Herbert on this list. Because I could argue for everybody else, and we take Jalen Hurts out of it for a second. I could argue for everybody else that at least they've won a playoff game, right? At least that, just for sakes of discussion and argument, right? We're talking about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has not won a playoff game, let alone been to a Super Bowl. But you mean to tell me he's 2 steps above Jalen Hurts? Who, again, people, Bird Gang, see the shirt, Bird Gang, 2 Super Bowls in the past 3 years, 1 Super Bowl MVP. All right. Moving on to talk a little bit about this. All right. Like I said, only 2 of the quarterbacks ranked above Jalen Hurts have won a Super Bowl. 2 out of 8 quarterbacks, 2 have won a Super Bowl. The others remaining, only 1 has been to a Super Bowl. All right. And then again, like I said, he's undefeated against the top 5 when he completes the game. All right. His career stats going back to 2020. 1,061 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 77.8% rating, QB rating. Jumping up to 2021. 3,144 yards, 16 TDs, 9 interceptions, and 87.2 QB rating. See how much of a jump that was from 2020 to 2021 when he became a full-time starter. Moving into 2022. 2022. First Super Bowl. 37-01. 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 101.5 QB rating. 2023. 38-58. 3,858 yards. 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 89.1 QB rating. Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with it as well. 2024, last season, a little fall off, 2,903 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 103.7 QB rating. Total career numbers so far, 14,667 yards, 85 touchdowns, 39 interceptions. Right now, an overall 93.8% QB rating. You mean to tell me, with those numbers, that doesn't move him up the list? That there's something going on. DJ Denham just chimed in. He said he thinks Jalen Hurts is pro-black, and very quietly and subtle about his issues and his things and the way he carries himself. But he's very, I would say, proud, and he'll stand on the things that he believes in. And he's very vocal about standing on the things that he believes in. I think they have an issue with that. But again, they put Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson above Jalen Hurts. Because when you look at them right now, Lamar Jackson kind of conforms to what the quote-unquote NFL wants. Jaden Daniels has only been there a year and just took the league by storm. We'll see what happens when we gauge his growth and everything in year 2. But again, 2 playoff games, I believe, 2 playoff games, but he hasn't been to the Super Bowl. Doesn't have the numbers that Jalen Hurts has. All right. So again, it's something. I wish I knew what it was. I'm going to do some digging. Maybe I can find out. Maybe I can talk to some people I know and try and find out what it is. But there's no way that any Eagles fan should be comfortable with this list. Yeah. He has evolved into a very, very solid, actually more than solid quarterback. He has. And he has evolved into that. It's not like he came right in and done it. He evolved into it. I mean, when you think about it, you also have to take into consideration the last 3 years he's had, 5 coordinators? He's had a different coordinator every year for the past, 3 years. A different coordinator for the past 3 years, for like the past 3 years. And he still puts up the numbers that he puts up. The young man is a winner. Again, Jared Goff, no Super Bowls. Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game. And you're saying that he's 2 steps above Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts beat Matthew Stafford twice. He's 3 above. Beat Jaden Daniels. He's above him. Beat Lamar Jackson. He's above him. Beat Joe Burrow. He's above him. Josh Allen beat him too. The only one I can say that is right now currently is Pat Mahomes. Like I said, 3-2 in the Super Bowls. But again, even with that, calling a spade, giving credit where credit is due, for me, he still lost to Jalen Hurts twice. And he lost to him in the Super Bowl. So, yeah. So, when you look at Jalen Hurts' stats, Jalen just chimed in. He said, you win games by minimizing turnovers. That's why Brady always threw the ground 15, 20-yard rock. Yeah, right. So, when we look at this, Saquon definitely makes a difference because Jalen arm stays fresh. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the offensive line gives him chances to run through his reads. And again, with all the talk that they had last season about him not being able to read the defense and this, that, and the third, I tell you, there were 2 plays. The 70-yard touchdown by Saquon and then that second big yard. Those 2 plays were audibles by Jalen Hurts. And you say he can't read the defense. I don't get it. So, going through his career stats, right, so far, and I'm going to get to the playoff stats in just a second. Career stats, going backwards in reverse order. Year 2024, last season, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Pretty damn good. 2023, not bad. 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. 2022, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 2021, 16-9. 2020, 6-4. One double-digit season. And we know what happened in that season when he had those 15 interceptions. That was that debacle. Coming off of the Super Bowl. Started out 10-1. And then, you know what, got crazy. Something happened, the bottom fell out, and that was that. That's why that stat is like that. Because it just looks odd when you look at all the rest of them. 18-5, 22-6, 16-9. Even when he's picked up halfway through the season, 6-4. And you got these guys, some of these guys that, like I said, have never touched the Super Bowl. And then I said again, I'm going to keep saying it, one that hasn't even touched the playoffs or hasn't even won a playoff game. And you telling me these are let's take Pat, like I said, take Pat Mahomes out. And these are the 8 quarterbacks that are better than Jalen Hurts. I want to know who these NFL execs and coaches and scouts were. Because if this is how they feel, they got some personal issues against Jalen Hurts. Because I just read you the stats, the career stats, and they speak for themselves, I'm sure. And what's the old saying? What they say? Numbers don't lie. Career playoff stats. 2021, he only played 1 game. He was 23 out of 43 in completions, 53%, threw for 258 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not bad. His first time hitting the playoffs, okay? Second time in the playoffs, 2022. First time in the Super Bowl in a losing effort to the Chiefs. There were 3 games played. 58 completions on 87 attempts. 66.7%. 579 yards. 3 touchdowns. No interceptions. 2023. 1 game played. 25 completions on 35 attempts. 71.4 percentage. 250 yards. 1 touchdown. Again, 0 interceptions. 2024. Last year. Super Bowl again. This time a win. 4 games played. 65 completions on 91 attempts. Again, 71.4%. 726 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Again, and you tell me a quarterback that has not won a playoff game and a bunch that have never been to the Super Bowl are better than this guy? I find it hard to believe. Again, like I said, even in that Super Bowl loss, he arguably outplayed Pat Mahomes. It was just a simple fact that that Chiefs team won. And they only won by 3. When the Eagles beat them, 40-22. Beat them. Again, we can argue there were some missed calls and some possible mistakes in that first Super Bowl that could have turned that table. That's why it was only a 3-point win. But the Eagles went aback. And like I said to people before that Super Bowl game, when I did my coverage and I talked about it, I said to them, I felt like the Eagles team was focused enough to go into that game knowing that we have to go in and take this game from the very beginning. We're not going to give them a chance. We're not going to get a refs a chance, an opportunity to make any kind of calls, to sway it any way. We're going to go in and we're going to take that game from the very beginning. We're going to take chokehold on it, and we're going to choke them till the life is out. And that's exactly what they did. So again, the list, to me, is bogus. You got to give this man his flowers. You got to give this man his respect. It's disheartening, disrespectful that this young man performs the way that he does, at the level that he does, carries himself in the manner and the nature that he does, and you put him at 9, number 9? Come on, y'all. You got to do better. It's no way he should be at number 9. Like I said, and again, you make me even more disturbed when you put Baker Mayfield, when you put Baker Mayfield at number 10, saying that he's a step above Baker Mayfield. Are you freaking kidding me? You can't be serious. I must be watching some different football than some of these NFL execs, coaches, and scouts are who compiled this list. Because they're not seeing what I'm seeing. I wish they would, but they're not seeing what I'm seeing. They're not seeing what a whole lot of people are seeing. Because that list is atrocious. It's ridiculous. All right? And getting to the point real quick. The point that DJ Denham brought up real quick, and I don't think I read it at first, but he brought up a point about Joe Montana. And I'm trying to find, I'm scrolling back through trying to find it. I think he made reference to say people wouldn't give it to Joe Montana, say Joe Montana was great because he had Jerry Rice. All right. There it is. He said, nobody said Montana wasn't the best because he had Jerry Rice. Okay. So, that being said, I also did some homework again, and I found a list. And this was a list of 10 best quarterbacks all time. Y'all know how I feel about these all-time lists. But for, as we say, you know what's in giggles, and for sakes of debates and talking to you all, wanted to bring it and talk about it a little bit. And I'll give you my opinions on some of these players in this. All right. So we got Drew Brees at number 10. I don't have any issue with Drew Brees there at number 10. He did eventually win a Super Bowl. You can get it, 13-time Pro Bowler. So I get it. His highest ranking was 5 in his career, and his lowest ranking was 17. So I'm okay with that at number 10. Brett Favre, number 9. Guess I'm okay with that. I looked through the list briefly, so I got to remember who they were, who they were. I'm not sorry. I have to remember who was at what number. I'm looking at it again now. So Brett Favre maybe could be moved up a little bit. John Elway at number 8, and you're talking 10. I feel like John Elway could be moved up a little bit more. just a little bit more. Steve Young at number 7, kind of okay with that. Kind of okay with Aaron Rodgers at number 6. I think Dan Marino could be moved up, although him not winning the Super Bowl kind of bumps him down, and that's because Patrick Mahomes has done what he's done. So they got Pat Mahomes at 4, Dan Marino at number 5. So for all intent purposes, I could bounce back and forth with this, but I'm actually okay with that. And because I understand why it's done. It was set up the way it was set up like that. Number 3, Joe Montana. I like it. Peyton Manning at number 2. And of course, they have Tom Brady at number 1. You all know I've talked to you several times. We talked about Deflategate. We talked about all the other stuff. And you know how I feel about the Tom Brady situation, right? I just myself, and I have some issues with that because of the asterisks that I have on his career. And again, I'm not saying that these people are wrong. I'm not saying I didn't see what I saw. I saw what I saw. I saw Joe Montana too. Saw some Dan Marino. Definitely saw Elway and Peyton Manning. All the other ones on that list I've seen. Okay? And again, like I said, I understand the stats. And again, like I said to myself just not too long ago, numbers don't lie. So I can't give you that. But I just said for me personally, there are some asterisks where I would put Montana or Peyton above him. That's just me. You don't have to agree with me. It's safe to agree to disagree. It's all funny. It's all debatable here, right? I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to be upset with someone because they disagree with me, but I will be upset with you if you can't back up why you disagree with me. I'm heavy on that. If you give me some information, you give me a point, a reference to something, you better be able to back up and tell me how you feel that way. Right? I have to respect it, because it's your opinion. If I ask it, I'm going to respect it. No issues there. But you can't just say to me, oh, Montana's better, and leave it at that because you say he's better. You got to give me something more than that. Just like anytime somebody asks me something, I give them more. I back up everything that I bring to this show. I'll back it up. I make sure that I have backup for it. All right? So I mentioned to you in the beginning, in the opening, I made reference to the T-shirts that the young ladies wore during the pregame warm-ups in the WNBA All-Star game. T-shirt read, "Pay us what you owe us." Very profound statement for these ladies. I've talked a few times about how I feel about their situation and their pay, and I talked about their flight situations. And I talked about that a lot, actually, quite a bit. And what's going on is their collective bargaining agreement is up at the end of the season, and they're lobbying for a new one. But again, also like I mentioned in the opening, they are not lobbying for something very great or substantial. All right, but when I give you the numbers are going to make it feel or seem substantial. But I think it's something that they deserve. They are lobbying for a bigger percentage of the league's shared revenue. Okay, which is like the ticket deals, TV deals, ticket and merchandise and sales, etc. All right. It is split over the NBA. This is the NBA is in this part too. The NBA is split between 49 and 51% of basketball revenue. This is evenly between players and owners. So the players, I think, get the 49 and the owners get 51 over, whatever it is, but there's a split there. All right. The WNBA, they only receive 9.3% of the league revenue, which is atrocious. And I know the league is expanding. Some revenue will come soon. But as of right now, Cuzzo 215 Romeo Diamond, thanks for tuning in, good brother. I just caught that. What I'm saying, yeah. So they need to get more than that. I felt like that for a long time. All right, and that's even lower than even other professional sports, right? The NFL and NHL players also get roughly half of the revenue, split with the owners. So what they're also looking at is a raise as well. In 2026, their salaries go roughly $40 million annually, Well, in 2026, it goes from roughly 45 million annually to 200 million annually. All right, and that's like their salary cap. Well, that's what the TV deal is signed to. All right, and I mean they say they lost 40 million. Right. Okay. This was a result in essence, it result in the league making money overnight from losing the 40 to net gain of 115 million just to get the TV deal done. All right. Current CBA would amount to players going from 1.507 million in salary cap to just 4 in salary cap, which is a substantial raise for them. All right. And it would cost the league only 2.5 mil out of a $115 million TV deal, which is like pennies. All right. And if the WNBA players got 40%, that's still only 17.2 as a salary cap. 11-time raise over their current salaries. I think they deserve it. It's long overdue. It's well deserved. They put on shows. They show their talents, and they play, sacrifice their bodies, and they should get paid more. Again, I said the league is growing. It is expanding. I told you last week about the expansions. 2030, Philadelphia will get a WNBA franchise, which I think is great. It's long overdue. I think Philly should have had one long before now. But it's great to see that it is going to happen. But again, there is still work that needs to be done. Again, if there is a NBA team in your city, if you're not in Philly, since it's not here yet, but if you're listening from anywhere else around the world, as we are worldwide, internet radio, if you are listening, there's an WNBA team in your city, take a chance on it. Go to a game or two. Check it out. Support these ladies because they need the support. Right? They need to see the fan base so they can get this collective bargaining agreement done and get the raises that they need. I mean, we got to speak it into fruition. Existence, and we got to do it. We got to do the footwork as well. Right? If there was a team here, I would be going to games to support. You see, I talk about them when they are in the news. Right? The important things I talk about. I talked about the collective bargaining agreement back when. I talked about their conditions and when they had troubles. Right? I talked about the Brittany Griner situation. I even talked about how these women have, for the longest, have had to go overseas to compensate for what they live, their lifestyles after the WNBA season is over. So I'm in support. I'm happy that they are working on this collective bargaining agreement, and I hope things work out in their favor. I am definitely in favor of the women getting their just due and their just desserts. All right. So real quick before I close out, I gave you some top 10 all-time quarterbacks in the NFL. Looked at Bleacher Report. Got one list from Bleacher Report. And again, this is not my top 10. I'm just going to give you this, and I'm just going to leave it. Questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave on the thread in the comment section. All right. Bleacher Report, top 10 players of all time, NBA. 1 through 10. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, Steph Curry. Again, that's the list from Bleacher Report, not from SportsRap. Questions, comments, you think some things should be changed around, leave it in the comments. I'll read them and I'll get back to you. I will reply to the comment if you leave me something. All right, the second one I have here is top 10 players at each position. All right, I'm going to go through each position as 10. I'm not going to go straight across from 1 across. I'm going to go top 10 straight down position-wise. All right, so my point guards, Magic, Steph, Oscar Robinson, Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, Russell Westbrook. I'm not going to get into it much, but I would jostle some of these around, if you will. Shooting guard, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, James Harden, Jerry West, Clyde Drexler, George Gervin, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller. Small forwards, LeBron James, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, Julius Erving, Scottie Pippen, Kawhi Leonard, Elgin Baylor, John Havlicek, Dominique Wilkins, Rick Barry. Power forwards, Tim Duncan, Giannis, Karl Malone, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Garnett, Charles Barkley, Anthony Davis, Elvin Hayes, Kevin McHale, Bob Pettit. Centers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Nikola Jokic, Moses Malone, David Robinson, Pat Ewing, Dwight Howard. There you have it, folks. That's the list. That's the list. Again, not my list, but a list that was created to talk about. Again, feel free to leave me comments in the comment section on this video after it gets posted up at the end when I'm done with you all today. One last list. 10 wasted talents in the NBA. 1 through 10. Len Bias, who unfortunately passed away before his league debut. Greg Oden, injuries. Derrick Rose was an MVP, and then the injuries killed him. Penny Hardaway, injuries. Grant Hill, injuries. Brandon Roy, knees, injuries. Andrew Bynum, laziness, injuries. Mike Beasley, they say no focus. DeMarcus Cousins, injuries, and his attitude. Ben Simmons, mental blocks. I don't know if that's true, completely true with the Ben Simmons thing, but that's what they have for him, mental blocks. All that to say, it is what it is. Folks, for everybody that tuned in today, I appreciate you all tuning in. Definitely appreciate the support for all the people that tuned in. Misery Loves Company, DJ Denim 2, 215 Romeo Diamond. Thank you all for tuning in. Anybody else that is listening that was not tuned in to Instagram that is listening on the airwaves, please remember, Heat 100 Radio is here for you. All right? I'm here. You got a product you want to showcase, you got a business you want to showcase, you want some small advertising, I'm your guy. We are your folks. Hit me up. Put a message in my DM at SportsRap CEO on Instagram. All right? Serious inquiries only. All right, you can get up here, sit on an interview, and talk about your product or your business or your services. Or I'm open for sponsorship. You can send me products, and I can talk about your products, explain them on air, T-shirts, hats, and all that stuff. You know that's kind of my trademark. I always have a hat on, right? And I'm a T-shirt fanatic. So we can definitely work those things out. Again, hit my DM at SportsRap CEO on Instagram, or shoot me an email. All right, sportsrap@yahoo.com. Again, message me in my DM at sportsrapceo, or message me in the email sportsrap@yahoo.com. I am also available to come out and host events and all that other jazz. You have a sporting event, you want me to cover, do some interviews, get some footage, I can definitely be available for that. So, in all that, I mentioned to you earlier that you know how we do here at Heat 100 Radio, right? We do what we do. And we always have tickets, right? You know the Dell is popping, right? So this Thursday at the Dell, Anthony Hamilton, Tamar Braxton, Life Jennings. Sue, my guy, what's going on? Appreciate you, man, for tuning in. Again, the Dell, this Thursday, Anthony Hamilton, Tamar Braxton, Life Jennings. You can be there, but you got to get tickets from the box office. Damn, if you stay tuned to Heat 100 Radio, Sports Rap Podcast, Sports Rap CEO, also Simply Monica 72, at Simply Monica 72, and at Heat 100 Radio Live. Those are the Instagram profiles that you definitely need to be locked in with. All right, you can win you some tickets to some stuff. So, for my folks, all right, I always come up with some stuff for y'all, and every once in a while I do get the privilege of being able to give y'all an opportunity to win some stuff. So, I have an opportunity for someone to win a pair of tickets to one of these two shows. This is at the City Winery, okay? So remember, City Winery. Shanice on 7/28, or Jay Holiday on 7/31. Again, Jay Holiday on 7/31, July 31st, or Shanice on July 28th at the City Winery. Both shows, I believe start at 7:30. So here's what you have to do. In my messages, not on the post, in my messages, the DM, as the young people say. Get in my messages. I'm going to give y'all this question. And I'm going to post it as a comment, but I'm not going to leave the answer. And again, do not put your answers in the comment section. Your answers have to go into the messages. I need you to tell me who the 5 players are in the NBA with 3 finals MVPs. At least 3 finals MVPs. Again, there are 5 players in the NBA, 5 players from the NBA who have 3 or more finals MVPs. In my messages, name those 5, and you can win a pair of tickets to see either Jay Holiday or Shanice at the City Winery, courtesy of SportsRap CEO, SportsRap Podcast, and Heat 100 Radio. Thanks again for everybody that tuned in. I definitely support all of you for that. Monday, it is a little steamy out, so be great on purpose. Make sure you tune in all week on social media, and I'll be right back here next Monday, again, to chit-chat with you all one more time. Again, football is back, people. Eagles training camp begins tomorrow, Tuesday, July 22nd. Eagles training camp starts tomorrow. Bird gang, go Birds. Defending, we begin the defense of Super Bowl licks, as we kept saying, Super Bowl licks. We defend our Super Bowl licks title. We begin our trek to defend that Super Bowl licks title. And listen, if you're an Eagles fan, and I heard somebody say this, so I'm going to share it with all my Eagles fans. If you are an Eagles fan, and we know how we get, football season is right around the corner, it's knocking on the door. So when we start talking football, which we will be coming tomorrow, all right, if anyone, especially anybody in our division, starts giving you flack about the Eagles and what kind of fans we are, or whatever, I'm going to give you something that'll get them out your face, that'll get them to leave you alone. All right? You just let them know that I hear you. You can talk all that, yada, 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 this and that, and whatever. Ultimately, bottom line, right now, Eagles are Super Bowl champs. They will be that until February if and when someone else wins the Super Bowl. If it's not the Eagles again, God forbid they repeat. Y'all in trouble. But tell them that, and they got to live with that until February. No matter what happens between training camp and January, somebody else has got to win in February to get them off of your back, for you to stop poking the chest out. So say it with your chest when you say it. You got to live with it till February, because we the champs until somebody else is crowned the champ. Wanted to give y'all that tidbit. Monday night games, Monday baseball. You got Orioles and Guardians, Tigers and Pirates, Padres, Marlins, Reds, Nationals, Red Sox, Phillies, Yankees, Blue Jays, Angels, Mets, Giants, Braves, White Sox, Rays, A's, Rangers, Royals, Cubs, Cardinals, Rockies, Brewers, Mariners, Astros, D-backs, Twins, and Dodgers. In the WNBA, when they come tomorrow, they resume tomorrow. You got the Sparks and the Mystics, the Fever and the Liberty, the Sky and the Lynx, the Dream and the Aces, and the Winds and the Storm. Again, I know I said it already, but folks, be great on purpose. Be safe getting home. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Y'all know where to find me. Instagram, Threads, TikTok at SportsRap CEO. Make sure you get over to their YouTube channel, SportsRap TV. Again, you know what to do there. The 3 things. You subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up on the videos that you like. And then hit that bell so you'll know when new content is uploaded. And then make sure you get over to that Patreon page, all right? Heat100Radio. Patreon.heat100radio or Patreon.sportsrap. That's what it is. Patreon.sportsrap podcast. Make sure you get over there. Make sure you join the membership over there. All right. You're going to get pretty soon. It's already some exclusive videos out there, some shorts. Pretty soon you're going to be able to get some merch and some other things over there as well. So make sure you get over there and hit that up too. All right. And remember, Heat100Radio.airtime.pro is the new audio for the show and for Heat 100 Radio. Make sure you lock that in. And I will talk to y'all all week on social media and right back here next Monday. Peace.